everybody, and welcome to The Final Score, your weekly show where we discuss all things in the ADNOC Pro League. Of course, match week 4 saw plenty of action, goals, drama, red cards, and even records being broken. Joining me in the studio, and of course guiding you through all of the action of match week 4, is UAE football legend Ibrahim Diaki and UAE football expert and commentator Pedro Correa. Chaps, first of all, welcome back. Another week down, another week gone, and certainly an entertaining one at that. Of course, it was a busy weekend for us all. We were in the studio covering the Dubai derby, and of course, Pedro, you were also covering the final game of match week 4, which was perhaps one of the shock results of the weekend.
Totally agree with you, Amy. I think it was the most shocking result of all. Ajman winning away at Sharjah title contender. Honestly speaking, also Sharjah was missing many important players, and even some of their important players came on from the bench and they were not 100%. But on the other hand, a great game plan by Ajman, cooked to perfection by Goran Tufagic.
Yeah, and his celebrations at the end of that game, which I'm sure we'll take a look at in just a moment, was absolutely terrific and a well-deserved 3 points for Ajman. So plenty to talk about and not much time to get through, so let's get straight into it and take a look at the facts and stats from the weekend and in the ADNOC Pro League up until match week 4. I mean, you can see two players there, and I think that's a really clear example of why Elaine are top of the tree and top of the table with 10 points, Ibrahim. Laba Kojo, of course, a standout performance from him, not only breaking records, but also claiming a hat-trick in match week 4, alongside Kaku, who is the top assist with 3. 28 games down, and obviously lots of goals. And looking at the setup in match week 4, Al Wahda 5, Al Dhafra 2. I mean, it was a terrific result for Al Wahda, a dominant performance against the newly promoted side. Baniyas, no goals, Al Jazira 4. It's not looking great for Baniyas, bottom of the table, but looking very promising for Al Jazira. Dibba 1, Calba 2, Elaine 3, Khorfakkan 0, a standout game in match week 4. Of course, our match of the week, Al Nasser 0, Shabab Al Ahli 1, Al Battaya 0, Al Wasl 1, perhaps not the greatest of performances. And of course, your match that you covered, Pedro, Sharjah 0, Ajman 1. Ibrahim, of course, we see Elaine top of the table. You must be pretty happy with them up there.
Yeah, you know, it was a very entertaining week. You know, I like goals, so Al Wahda and Alain Al Jazira who scored the most in this week, so I can be more comfortable to talk about the goals, and very entertaining, and I'm not surprised at all from the Alain taking the top. Alain is one of the greatest team in the country. They're fighting to get back, to regain again the title. So as I said before, after their performance in the World Cup of the clubs, of course they're looking for their identity to find again that Alain that we all know. And what a performance from Laba Kojo, terrific striker, and 3 perfect goals. And sometimes in the team you need a type of striker like that who can make the difference alone. And on top of that, he beat the record.
Yeah, absolutely. And just quickly looking at the bottom end of the table, of course, Baniyas and Dibba still without a point. Concerning signs for them, Pedro.
Yeah, Baniyas, in the meantime, changed the coach. We'll talk about that later. As for Dibba, I agree with you, Amy, but not totally in the sense that I feel like Dibba and Dhafra is proving that with points. And but getting back to Dibba, I think they have enough to have a proper fight to avoid the relegation. I think they are stronger than the recently promoted teams in the previous seasons. And especially if we look at the coach Bruno Pereira, I think he has now better players than what he had at Aruba last season when he started. So I believe they will recover. And for sure, Baniyas is a traditional side in the ADNOC Pro League. They will do better soon, I believe.
Well, plenty to talk about, and we're going to be going through all of the games in match week 4. But just before we do, let's take a look at all the action.
Match week 4 of the ADNOC Pro League season saw no draws and plenty of goals. Most of them came in the first 2 matches, which were both Abu Dhabi derbies. Al Dhafra's impressive start to the season since promotion was dampened by a 5-2 defeat at the hands of Al Wahda. And not far away, Baniyas' poor start to the season continued with a 4-0 loss at home to visiting neighbours Al Jazira. Alain's Kojo Laba made history as his hat-trick to beat Khorfakkan meant he became the club's all-time leading goalscorer and took his league season tally up to 7 goals from 4 games. Calba snatched a late winner to beat Dibba 2-1, while the league champions also left matters very late. Sardar Azmoun came off the bench after 3 months out to score the only goal in a 1-0 Dubai derby win against Al Nassr. Al Wasl got their 2nd win of the season on the road at Al Batay. And Ajman jumped over Sharjah in the table thanks to Walid Azaro's 70th minute goal.
Ajman's celebrations there were certainly something at the end of their game. So let's take a look at our first game, and it was actually our match of the week, the Dubai derby. It is a real classic in the ADNOC Pro League. Al Nassr up against Shabab Al Ahli, and it was just 1 goal that divided the two. Ibrahim, Sardar Azmoun came on in that second half. We've just seen his goal there, a terrific header. And how important is the likes of Sardar Azmoun for Shabab Al Ahli?
Yes, Amy, you know, a type of striker like him is always needed in the team, and with his experience and his quality, he's the type of player who can make the difference at any time. And I'm really glad for him that he came back and directly from he scored a goal, and an important goal, especially in the last minute. And as I say, he came to complete the consistency of Shabab Al Ahli. Every game they play, as I mentioned in previous final scores, it's one of the teams that impressed me a lot. Even when I used to play, it was always difficult to play against Shabab Al Ahli because the way out, they're very organized in the field. And the fighting spirit that they have, it makes always the difference. And Sardar came in and he had to make the difference. As he said in the interview that you did with him, he said, I'm a striker, that's what I do, scoring. And he did it perfectly. And then they got the 3 points.
Yeah, he knows his job extremely well, that's for sure. And Pedro, I mean, we saw lots of chances in that game for both Shabab Al Ahli and Al Nassr. Now, what you saw from Al Nassr, obviously they put up an excellent fight in the Dubai derby. Do you feel they have what it takes to remain in the top 5?
In the mix, definitely. I think this season, from what we are seeing up until now, I think they can do better than in previous seasons. I feel a bit sorry for Al Nassr losing close to the end, but in all fairness, I must say that I also feel like Shabab Al Ahli somehow deserved to win because they created much more chances. Also, it's true what you said, Al Nassr created some good chances and they could have scored also, but Shabab Al Ahli was more dominant, more in control. And in the end, I think it can be considered as a fair win for Shabab Al Ahli with a very late goal. It's always dramatic, but this is the ADNOC Pro League. This is what we can offer.
Yeah, and that's why you can't switch off at any point and play till the final whistle, that's for sure. Now, at the end of our match of the week, we actually caught up with both head coaches. So let's just take a look at what Jokanovic had to say.
Moment for us, lost the game in the minute where they scored the goal for another side. We have our chances, of course they have the chances we expect. They have the quality team for the create a difficult situation for us. now, for us now it's a moment for stand up and prepare ourselves for next game. It was quality game. We showed some improvement, but unfortunately we did a bit lucky at the end of the game. We expect they will create the chances for another side. We lost. We missed a little bit the power at the end of the game, and even we missed a little bit the personality for the finish of the game. And we need to working in this direction for improve ourselves. Historical club is I am enjoying working in this club. Which our target is improve and make better season than season before. We are in this working in this direction, and we expect we will be successful. No, of course no. It's in general line we attack enough. We are created a lot of the chances, but we are not. Even today we don't park the bus in our box and expect we will find it for some benefit for that. Of course, we need to improve offensively, like defensively is 100%. But for another side, we will try find it our identity is try play good football and try be winning, grow up our winning mentality.
Feels good, always winning, especially with the quality of the game we present today. From the beginning till the end, we create. We play really good for side corridors, inside corridors, change of speed on our game, also some transitions. Mainly, we need to close the game straight away already in the first half. But the team spirit, it was really good once more. The ones that came in from the bench, the ones that was on the game with some physical issues, they deal well with that. So that this is the spirit, and then ending, winning in the end with a special person. No, it's Sardar already from last year. His average of goals it's really high. The first 14 matches he was outstanding. We know it always important for us, and once more in one touch and he score for a win. For that, it's really happy for all of us because we work hard to achieve these results. With the players we have it already from last year, we try to work in the daily basis to give them confidence, to work. We increase the volume also to the finishing in different areas where it creates more determination and courage on that, and also giving the right quality, you know, to be more clinical, like you say, to score the goals. But something we identify already from the end of the season and beginning of the season. To make another step, you know, you need to have players different with the killing instinct on the box where they dictate games and leagues. But like my first day, me and my staff, it's work what we have, give them confidence, work to be on the right positions to scoring. Last year, in many situations, players, they make difference in some moments, and it will be also this year. This is what I believe, and this is what we work for.
Well, a great insight from both head coaches, but in particular, Paulo Sousa. I mean, we could listen to him all day and just have a final score just to hear what he has to say about Shabab Al-Ahli. He always gives a real in-depth conversation about the ins and outs of his squad and team. But Pedro, I mean, he is our manager of the week, and also he's coming from the reigning champions. The pressure's always going to be on Paulo Sousa, being the reigning champions. But what makes him so special?
He's Portuguese.
Also that. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, he has a big connection there.
Thank you very much for that. I agree with you. That's also something. The capacity to come into a different footballing reality and to adapt. He is Portuguese, but he coached in Italy, Poland, Hungary, many different places, and he has the capacity to come in and to adapt. He has his own ideas, he has a certain playing style, but he also comes into a certain country, in this case the UAE, and to a certain club, in this case Shabab Al Ahly, understands where he is and understands how he has to adapt to those circumstances to be successful. And I think, of course, let's not diminish at all the way Shabab Al Ahly is working in terms of squad depth. For me, their squad depth is the best in the league. Okay, one or two positions they might still have room for improvement, but that is natural. But good work also on that. They have lots of good young talent. And then Paulo Sousa, again, cooks it to perfection.
And I would like to add something on what I like with Paulo Sousa. You can see that he put that discipline into the team. You can see the way how the players, he mentioned something that is very important. He said last year some players, they had to defend. Even the offensive player, sometimes you have to do the sacrifice that the coach is asking you to do. So it's like, okay, again this year, a couple of them again will have to defend because it's for the good for the team. And this, you can see that he's putting already his print there, like you need to understand, to listen to him. And he has the character, he has the personality. And this is sometimes what the coach, the players, they need to be able to perform correctly on the field.
Yes, well, he's already proved his worth last season, so I'm sure the players will listen to him even more so this season. And just on the clinical ability there, he really recognised that that's something that they need to work on, and he wasn't happy with that. So he always demonstrates and shows that what he's happy with and what they need to work on, which is promising signs.
And the finishing, it's something you can improve. I would, if I was Paulo Sousa, which I'm not, I would be more worried if Shabab Al Ahly was not creating the chances. That would be something to worry about. Now, not finishing, and especially Sardar, their main striker, was out. I think it's something that they can work on. And besides that, let's not forget, 4 clean sheets out of 4 matches. Yeah. No goals conceded yet in this ADNOC Pro League edition. That says a lot of what Ibrahim was saying. The team, the way they are organized, they are compact, and they know that they also have to defend, even though they are a dominating side.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's move on. Again, we could talk all day about our match a week alone, but Al Wahda 5, Al Dhafra 2. It was an Abu Dhabi derby, a big game and a big result for Al Wahda. I mean, if you just take a look at some of the clips, of course, Al Wahda broke the deadlock through an Omar Kerbin penalty, but their attack on the wings proved ever so dangerous against Al Dhafra, Ibrahim.
Amy, very interesting game. You know, if you check the statistic, you can see that the ball possession, Al Wahda at 51 and Dhafra 49. It's almost 50-50, which means it was an open game. That's what I like about Dhafra. Even they took 5 goals, but they opened, they went there, they tried to win that game. Of course, with the experience and the quality play that Al Wahda has, they could make the difference. They were very efficient. The couple of chances they had, they could put it in the goal. And what a strike there and from Caio. And I feel like the coach is trying to build an Al Wahda who is more efficient. You know, because multiple times from last season also, they had some couple of chances they couldn't finish the action. And through Dhafra game, you can see that they're improving a lot on that side.
I mean, Al Wahda obviously had an excellent performance and a dominant one at that, but Al Dhafra, they still managed to squeeze 2 goals in, Pedro.
Many credits and praises on my side for Al Dhafra. Because then when you look at the score, and you always look at the final score to think about a match, it does not tell the whole story. I think it was a brave performance for Al Dhafra. They valued the match a lot because they played, as Ibrahim was saying, in an open way. Of course, that allowed also space for Al Wahda to play in a way that if they would have played deeper and more compact, probably they would not have so many chances. Al Wahda's front line is a monster in a good sense of the word. The mobility and the quality of those 4 frontline players, Caio, Krespsi, Kerpin and Tadic, it's amazing. Even though they score 5 goals, connection. I still feel like Al Wahda would be even better if they had on the squad, not in the starting 11, but on the squad, a typical striker, a target man, a player with more presence in the box. But Dhafra, they are playing very well. I'm sorry that they conceded so many goals, but they managed to score 2 against Wahda, which is a great achievement. And they made the match much more entertaining to watch.
And just from those replays, we really saw how well Wahda utilised the wings into the centre forward. But as you say, an outright centre forward is certainly a position that's needed for Al Wahda. Okay, moving on, we have Baniyas 0, Al Jazira 4. Another team that I'm sure Ibrahim Diaki will be fairly happy to see claiming the 3 points again. I mean, Ibrahim, it was a brilliant performance again from Al Jazira. They've started the season extremely well. And Vinicius Melo, he scored twice, looked sharp throughout. How important do you think that he will be for the capital team?
Yes, it was an important game for Jazira to win because they're trying to keep the level that they were looking for. And they had a great performance last week and against El Nasser. They couldn't score a lot of goals, but I think the goal that they couldn't score against El Nasser, they scored all against Baniyas. You say that I'm happy. Okay, I'm happy for the goals and also for Jazira, obviously. But at the same time, I'm a bit sad for a team like Baniyas. I know that team. I respect. Is a team that is very well respected in the ADNOC Pro League. For me, losing 4 games in a row, is a critical situation. And I feel like I spoke already last week about it to Pedro. Is the lack of confidence. Baniyas, Al-Samawi, as we call them in the nickname, Al-Samawi, is a team with a lot of character, a lot of personality. And I feel like last 4 games that they played, we're not seeing that confidence that Baniyas has. And it's better for them to wake up now. The coach got fired, but for me, it's not the coach. It's more the players. They need to take more responsibility because it's one of the best teams in the ADNOC Pro League. They need to do more effort, be more confident. Because if you see the statistic regarding the ball possession, most of the time Baniyas is 36% or 35%. That means every time the team they play against, they're dominating. So if it's around the same ball possession, that means you are not confident enough to go sometime away or at home. It's the same percentage I'm seeing in the ball possession. I think we need to see more effort from their side because we really need the Baniyas to be able to compete with the other team in the ADNOC Pro League.
Absolutely. And just referring there, Ibrahim, to what you said about the head coach being fired. Well, guess who's back? Back again. We just need M&M playing in the background now. Daniel Asilia is back at Baniyas for the 3rd time, which is a good sign, Pedro?
It brings back good memories to the Al Samawi, as they are all known, Sky Blues, because he once got Baniyas to finish in the 2nd position, their best performance ever in the ADNOC Pro League. I think it's a good decision from Baniyas. I think Baniyas must improve a lot defensively. And Daniel Izala is definitely the man to do that, because even though they have not scored yet a single goal up until now, I think they struggle a lot in the defence.
Absolutely. Well, maybe Daniel Asilia will turn things around for Baniyas. So moving on, Dibba 1, Calba 2. I mean, Calba turning things around and claiming the 3 points late on in that game. Ibrahim, how important is it for Calba to be able to turn and just have the edge on the other clubs in the ADNOC Pro League?
You know, these type of games are very important for both teams because they're both fighting not to be on the bottom because they know already there's some strong team in front of them. So this kind of game are very important for them to win, to get the 3 points there. It was a very balanced game. From both sides, you could see that they were looking for that win. But at the end, Calba, I think they had more character, more presence, and they were fighting for all the second ball. And what I like the most also, the way how they were organized, because the team, from the build-up, the team go up together and come back together. They play in block, and because it's not easy to play against Dibba. It's a different Dibba that we are saying. As Pedro mentioned now, it's completely a new Dibba. So if you don't focus enough and you make a lot of mistakes, you can have a surprise. And I think Calba did what they were supposed to do, and they got the 3 points.
And Pedro, Dibba still without a point, and I think in this game in match week 4, their defence just proved that that's where the focus needs to be for them improving.
Lack of efficiency in the defence mostly, I agree with you, but also in the offence they could have scored more. And I think that is the problem in the overall right now. It's lack of efficiency. Because aside from that, I think they can do much better than the teams in the previous seasons who got promoted from the first division, as I said before. A bit smooth here. You see many players defended. They sank close to the goal and they forgot the player just outside the box. A little bit also smooth, lack of aggressiveness in the overall, not just in this particular situation, and this was already during the other time, but in the overall they need to be a little bit more aggressive in the good sense of the word, of course. And aside from that, I think Dibba can challenge much better than in previous seasons to try to avoid the relegation.
Yeah, and just having a quick look at that clip there was 8 defenders and only 5 attackers. I mean, you know, looking at that figure, they shouldn't be allowing them to come through, but maybe something to work on for Bruno Pereira. OK, moving on to our next game, Elaine 3, Khorfakkan 0. I mean, this was a record-breaking game, one for Elaine, but also for Laba Kojo. Laba Kojo claiming a hat-trick, Ibrahim. I mean, there's just no stopping him at the moment.
He's Laba Kojo. No wonder he was the top scorer last season. Great, terrific striker, great quality, smart. I like the way sometimes he participates into the game. You know, when he comes into the midfield, play a bit with the midfielders, and then put the ball deep and then run into the box. And he's someone, if you leave him a chance any second, any moment, he can make the difference. And I think he knew already that he wanted to beat that record. So coming against Khorfakkan, because Khorfakkan is not an easy team. It's a team that who is fighting a lot, and they're not scared. They don't hold back. Even if it's at home or away, they will still look for that 3 point. And I like to check the statistic. Alain 50.4, Khorfakkan 49.6. So which means the game was very well balanced. They were not scared. The ball possession, you can see 50 to 49. So. But Alain had more experience. They used the lethal weapon that they had in front, and he made the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Khorfakkan, they were just missing a player like Laba Kojo. And I think it's really important to also identify that with a player like Laba Kojo, he's not just scoring from similar positions like his aerial dominance, which is always a standout, but all 3 of those goals were in a different manner, which just really shows how versatile he is.
But it's not only Laba. Around the surrounding of Laba, you see Kaku before Raimi, a couple of Palacios. So it's a collective work that is being done to make Laba stronger and better. So the people around you also, they need to have some credit, because but overall, you can see the statistic that he has. He's an amazing player, as I said earlier. Very smart one. He comes to the midfield, play with the players. He always tries to find that space where he can feel comfortable to finish the goal. At the same time, his teammates are working for him, try to reach him to finish the goal, because they know he has the quality to do that. And he's doing it perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. And breaking the record, 125 goals for Elaine now, Laba Kojo, and I'm sure that figure will just keep rising as we head towards the end of the season. So moving on, Al Battaya 0, Al Wasl 1. A very close encounter, closer perhaps than Al Wasl had expected. Of course, they have an unbroken record against Al Battaya, winning every single game they have faced, 7 in total now. But it was very close, Pedro. I mean, it was a terrific goal from Ali Salah, but it was a very close game in the end.
Yeah, in the first half, Wasl dominated a little bit more. Then second half, great reaction by Battaya, and let's put all credits also into that. But Wasl was very close to dropping points at Battaya. I felt like some lack of aggressiveness on both extremes of the pitch. Offensively, Wasl needed to score more goals, clearly, and to be more efficient. But mostly defensively, I think it's where the problem lies mostly right now. The lack of defensive aggressiveness. Wasl needs to improve a lot in the defensive transitions. And here I'm not just talking about the defensive line at all. Talking the whole team needs to defend better, needs to be quicker on the reaction and more aggressive in the reaction. Bataya did what they had to do to try to at least get 1 point, and that was a marvelous strike by Ali Salah, by the way.
Yeah, it was incredible. Hit it in the sweet spot, that's for sure, and there's his celebrations. He always knows where the crowd is, that's for sure. But just talking about how Wasl, in terms of they need to catch up and be a little bit quicker, you saw in that game that there was opportunities to go on the counter-attack, but perhaps there was only 1 or 2 players available. On the odd occasion, Ali Salah would drive forward down the left or right-hand channel, and there'd be no one there, so we'd have to stall play and then play back to try and keep hold of possession. But as you said, from offensive play to defensive and defensive to offensive, they just need to be on par and level terms with each other.
No, the quality is definitely there. Al Wasl has a very good squad, no doubts on that. No doubts on the coach, in my opinion, a very good coach. But they need, because they were coming in from a 7-1 win against Esteghlal for the AFC Champions League 2, where they played a very good match. On the other hand, then this match with Bataya was, I'm lacking adjectives here, maybe weird in some ways, because they, even though they had many chances, they managed to create some chances. They struggled to get the result, and this is something that, looking forward, Al Wasl must fix in order to be in a more steady way in terms of their performances, not with so many ups and downs.
Okay, moving on to our final game of Final Score, and also the final game of match week 4. Pedro, you were there covering this game. Ajman 1, Sharjah 0. Perhaps the shock result of the weekend. Now, Sharjah, they had a lot of possession, but they just couldn't get the ball over the line.
I think Sharjah, as I said in the beginning of the show, some problems with the lineup because they were missing many players. Poblete, for example. Caio Lucas was on the bench, not 100%. Majid Hassan was on the bench, not 100%. They were missing some important players like Luan, Meloni. It is complicated, of course. I liked a lot number 23, Feta Fetai. For me, very interesting midfielder. But mostly, right now, unlike in previous seasons, Sharjah has a striker on the box, Ray Manaj. And I felt like they failed to play for him. There was not much feed to the striker, feeding coming in mostly from the wings, and I think this was something they struggle even to create chances. And of course, let's not forget what Ajman did. The game plan was perfect, and of course it worked out. It's easy to say it was perfect now that it worked out. The game plan was perfect. They have 2 new but experienced central defenders who closed the door on any team, and they did close the door on Sharjah. And then the goal is amazing because Dino Hotic launches from almost his own box, a great run by Walid Azaro to make it 1-0. It was somehow an historical win for Ajman.
Ajman did that. We have to give credit to Ajman because Sharjah is not an easy team. Let's not forget that they are the champion of the Champions League 2nd, category 2. And playing against them, there is a team that is very well organized. Coach Milos coming into the team, of course, he's trying to find the right tactics and the right players to put in the team. I'm sorry, Pedro, I don't want to. I understand what you were saying, that Caio Lucas was on the bench. These are a couple of excuses, but Ajman went there in the intention to win. They gave 100%, and a great result, as you mentioned, regarding the goal. If you see the way the goal is scored, they knew what they were doing. They went there to try to get the 3 points, and they did it perfectly.
Absolutely. And just talking about the goal, Ibrahim, yes, it was an excellent finish from Walid Azaro, but Sharjah had a high press, and the mistake came from them and then quickly turned to a counter-attack from Ajman. You could see how high up the pitch they were, and then Azaro, great composure, driving forward and just slots it home.
I can guarantee you this was work in the training because they definitely watched the video of Sharjah.
Yeah.
I know very well this kind of situation. The coach, he asked his player to stay in block. Once they recover the ball, go out as soon as possible. Because Azaro is very fast and he has the quality to hold the ball in front. And even the offensive line of Ajman is not an offensive line that you have to underestimate because they have the quality. They can score at any time. And I think they read the coach, he read the game very well. And that made the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great result and great 3 points for Ajman in the end. So let's take a look at the final scores lineup of the week. Of course, there's so many standout players that we see week in, week out, and it's always very difficult just to select one squad and one 11. But the best coach, let's start off with Paulo Sousa. I think we all agree that he certainly deserves to be up there. And then Laba Kojo in particular. Ibrahim Al-Balushi also making some excellent saves to keep his team in it. Ibrahim.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think the top 11 there, they deserve all to be there. But from my side, I feel like Ali Salah, with the great goal that he scored last week, was an important win, first of all, plus an important goal. And I think he deserves to be there. But Coach Paulo Sousa, definitely, because of the way how Shabab El Ahly, with the consistency that they're winning every week, is really something to be really is remarkable. And other than that, I think everybody deserves to be there.
Yeah, any missing for you, Pedro?
Yes, 2 players who their teams, respective teams, lost, but I would highlight Karim El Barkawi, Al Dhafra's striker. He scored 2 goals. It's not easy to score 2 goals for Al Dhafra in just one match. And Carlos Vinicius, the midfielder for Dibba, even though Dibba lost the match, he was both were above the average for their teams, despite the losses.
Yeah, there's certainly, in the bottom end teams, there's certainly a few key standout players that maybe we'll see drift across to other teams in the future. You never know.
Probably.
Okay, so let's take a look at match week 5. Of course, that's just around the corner, starting tomorrow. And of course, our match of the week will be kicking in tomorrow. Khorfakkan versus Calba, a Sharjah derby. And then Al Jazira up against Al Wahda, which will be our match of the week, the Abu Dhabi derby. I mean, this is a huge game, Pedro and Ibrahim. I mean, we know the rivalry with the clubs such as Al-Ain, Al Jazira, Al Wahda. It is literally the battle of the capital. Who can show that they have what it takes?
Amy, I can tell you, when I was in Jazira, we were waiting for that game. It's the derby of Abu Dhabi. The excitement when you're in the hotel, the way you are preparing yourself to go for that game, is more than just a game, because, you know, the 2 teams of Abu Dhabi, I mean, you have to win.
Yep.
So from both sides, Al Wahda, they're thinking to win, Jazira thinking to win. So I think it is a great game tomorrow to watch. We ask all the fans to come to support their team because they will need it. And I believe that it will be a great game tomorrow.
Plus, Al Wahda has a Portuguese coach, which is something else that I think it's important to mention.
More and more Portuguese players and coaches are joining the ADNOC Pro League. But yeah, a huge game, and of course, 3 points and bragging rights will be on the head coach's mind for Al Wahda and Al Jazira. And then also 2 huge games again, of course, Thursday evening. Shabab El Ahly up against Al-Ain, and Al Wasl, they face Sharjah. Again, 3 points is a must for all of those clubs. And Baniyas up against Ajman, Al Dhafra face Al Bataya, and Al Nasser against Dibba. Any standout games apart from the 3 biggies that we've already mentioned?
It's as good as it gets. I think Dhafra with Bataya. Bataya is on thin ice, despite some good performances. But of course, mostly those 3 games we mentioned, that is nerve-wracking for sure, nail-biting.
All the games are important. All the game, every game are crucial for every team. They have to win. So probably this week again it will be very interesting to see who will push to the top or who will go down.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've already seen in the 4 opening match weeks of the ADNOC Pro League that you just can't guarantee those 3 points, and anyone can take a point from the top or the bottom clubs, that's for sure. So there's so much to talk about, but that's it for Final Score. We could be here all day, and we could have a whole week discussing every single game in the ADNOC Pro League. But that's it. We will be live tomorrow for our match of the week, which is Al Wahda against Al Jazira. We'll be live from 7:45 p.m. Of course, kickoff is 8:15, so make sure you tune in to the action. But for now, thank you to Ibrahim and Pedro for joining me here in the studio. Thank you from everyone here at Final Score. Masalama, good night.